to the Prime Culture Podcast. This Prime Culture is for the dreamers, the schemers, and the believers. We're here to introduce a whole new generation to the abundant life. We're here for the prime of our lives.
Yo, welcome back to the Prime Culture Podcast. It's your boy, Cruz, and I'm with the kid, man. What's up, Andrew?
What it do? What's
going on?
It has been way too long.
It's been about 14 days. Actually, let me say 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 3 days, 17 hours, 21 minutes, and it's been way too long.
Yes, it has.
Since we dropped some content, but we're super excited. We're back. We're super back. I hope you missed us. Some people are like, man, I didn't even know you were gone. Well, listen, we're going to work on that. You're gonna love us. But I just want to say, before we even jump into anything, you guys, thank you so much for rocking with the content. We watch you guys watch us. The views are ticking on YouTube. If you didn't know, we're on multiple platforms now. We're on Spotify. So those of you that are rocking with us today on Spotify, thank you so much.
Apple Podcast.
Not
Apple Music.
Listen, man, we're over that. I thought we were over that. I was like, hey, listen to us on iTunes. Like, dude, iTunes is not a thing.
Hey, for all the real OGs that caught that last time, drop a like on this video, bro. Oh my gosh.
Man, that's old news, man. Keep bringing up my old stuff. Just when I thought I was over it and out of it, it keeps coming back, pulling me back. But we're on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. And so if those of you that have been rocking with this on audio, you can watch this in video format on YouTube. Find us on our YouTube channel, This Prime Culture. And it's been really cool this season. It's been really, really cool sharing with you guys. I love the opportunity to be able to continue our content and continue our conversations and really get to have a voice in your life. You know what I mean? As one of the pastors of Prime Culture, it really is like such a blessing, Andrew, to be able to visit someone's day. You know what I'm saying? And visit someone's situation, or just kind of be in your ear. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's a big deal, man. Yeah, no, it blesses me, man, whenever I get a chance to see, like, on our social page, like, people reposting it because they're listening to it. Yeah.
And then getting to hear stories of, like, how a certain aspect or a certain content piece of what we've been doing here at the Prime Culture Podcast has been able to minister to them.
For sure.
You know, it makes me so excited, bro.
It hits different when people let us know, right? Yeah. So listen, as you've been listening and as you've been watching, wherever you're at, however you're consuming the content, number one, thank you. We're so grateful.
Love you guys.
We really believe in this content, you guys. Like, we really do. This isn't just like, oh, hey, let's give Cruz and Andrew or whoever comes on the podcast, right? I just love talking. You know what I mean? No. Right. I do love talking, right? I do, man. I do. But what I love more than that is us knowing the fact that we're making an impact in your lives, right? And so I think about this all the time, Andrew, like, what about the people that don't get this, right? And what about the people who don't necessarily get to catch some of this content, right? Like, we believe God is on this. We believe that God is in this. We believe that God's voice and the voice of your Creator and the voice of your Heavenly Father who wants to direct your life and bring wisdom into your life and help your life go further faster. We believe that He's actively searching for people who He can speak to. And I don't know about you, man, but I want to be a part of helping people find this, right? And so listen, y'all, like, you can help us get this content across more screens, into more ears, on more Spotify playlists, in more AirPods or whatever, by sharing it. Or you can leave us a like on YouTube, subscribe, turn on alerts on our podcast platforms, on our audio platforms. You can give us a rating. The rating goes a long way, man.
It goes a huge way.
It really helps us get the content out. So hopefully you believe in this content as much as we do. So help us get it out there. Yeah.
And I love the topics. Before we go on further, I love the topics that we discuss because we don't shy away from the real convos.
No, man, we want to kick it real 100%. We're not, we're not trying to be cute with it, Andrew.
Right, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not trying to be cute with this thing. What we're trying to do, more than trying to impress, we want to impact.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been thinking about that a lot, bro. Especially at this point in my life. Like, I think, and this isn't the content, but here you go. It's just some value add, right? But I think for too long in my life, especially in my younger adult years, because I'm still a young adult, and I'm going to take that with me to the grave, bro.
Yes,
I'm going to be a 75 5-year-old young adult. You know what I'm saying? But I think for too long, we invest way too much energy in trying to impress people and trying to prove something to people, right? And one of the things that has come to me in how I manage my energy, right, is, look, number one, I'm not going to waste energy trying to impress, man. I'd rather divert my energy and invest my energy in trying to impact. All right. So this content isn't to impress, right? Now, you are going to get our best.
Absolutely.
You know, like when Andrew and I come on, if PD, aka Diana, ever comes on, we're gonna have some more of our old friends. I don't know if y'all remember my people, Prime people, right? But PM, Pastor Mark, Pastor Mark is about to come back.
Let's go.
Anyway, man, like, we do our best, right? We prepare, we pray, we get our head right, we get the content right, we do our research because we care about your life, man. Like, we really do, Andrew, right? So number one, we're not here to impress, we want to impact. Number two, and I hope this blesses you as a young adult, I don't want you to waste your years anymore trying to prove something. The way I've been talking to myself is this, man, I've got nothing to prove, but a lot to provide.
Wow.
Right? I've got nothing to prove, but man, I've got a lot to provide. So what I'm going to do, man, is I'm just going to chill in my little cut, man. I'm going to chill in the cut, stay in my lane. I'm going to use my voice. I'm going to work what's in my hand.
And do your thing.
And I'm not going to prove to people that I'm incredible. I'm not going to waste time proving that, right? Trying to put on, have a facade, have a front. I'm not going to do that, man. I'm not going to fake the funk anymore, bro. Like, I'm just not going to give that one more iota of energy. What I'm going to do is say, I've got a lot to provide. And anywhere the Lord gives me an opportunity to provide value, perspective, wisdom, instruction, direction, or even some challenges, because that's part of my job as your pastor. Part of my job is to challenge you, to confront you, to call you on your BS, and I can say BS on a podcast, right? To call you on your believing and speaking. Hello. Or to call you on your other BS, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's part of my job. So that's what I'm going to bring, man. And to anyone who will listen, I believe that this will take them further faster, right? So anyway, now that we got all of the preliminaries out of the way, man.
Here we go.
Bro, I'm mad excited. I'm mad excited. Number one, look at us looking all official.
Bro, do y'all see the set? Oh my gosh.
So like on YouTube, you can see it. On audio, go check out the YouTube. We're mad. Look, number one, you're going to go look at it and be like, is that all?
Right? I know, bro.
Well, first of all, don't judge my come up. All right, number one.
We're building something here,
right? Exactly. And if you can't be with me here, well, you know what it is, right?
Do the finger snaps.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Don't judge my breakthrough until you know my being through. Come on, somebody. Anyway, Andrew.
My goodness.
But I'm mad excited about our setup. It gives me a whole different energy, bro. Real talk. I feel like a little Joe Rogan all up in me right now. You know what I'm saying?
It just makes me feel good that I don't have to worry about background noise.
Hello, ice machines.
Seriously,
that's all I'm going to say.
Ice
machines, right? And before we even move forward, part of our culture code is that we always celebrate. We celebrate constantly. That's part of Prime Culture DNA. And you can't see her right now, but the secret to our success this season, and I believe moving season, is an incredible young woman, an incredible young creative. Her name is Angela Gonzalez. Angela, we love you. You are phenomenal.
You're the GOAT.
For real. For real.
Love you.
She's the one, man. She's the one.
Been riding, bro.
100%. And if you know Angela, make sure you say thank you to her. She's the one that's making us look good on YouTube. She's like essentially almost like become like a project manager for this content, man. And so Angela, we love you.
Shoot her a follow on IG too. Show her the love.
What is it?
At Angie.GNZ. I got it.
At ANGIE?
Yeah, ANGIE.
At ANGIE.GNZ. Yep. She's a great follow. She's got incredible creative content. So love you, Ange. You're the best. You're the best. Last, but certainly not least, I'm mad important. Yes, I am so important, right?
Wow.
I matter so much.
I'm a child of God.
Bruh. And I'm also very humble, by the way. No, man, I'm mad excited about what we're going to talk about today. The topic of our conversation today is a thought that God gave me a couple of months ago. Shared it with our staff at church, but since then have gotten an opportunity to share it with teams around the country.
So strong.
And like church teams, right, around the country. And God has really just kind of like been using it to help people. And I thought when Andrew and I were talking about, hey man, what are we going to talk? What direction are we going to take with the podcast? Man, God really stirred it in my spirit to share this with you guys for a couple of reasons. Number one, Andrew, I think that as I look back, for sure, as I look back at my life as a young adult, like I stayed anxious and uncertain. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my natural state of being. You're in your young adult years. Would you disagree?
I'm in it right now, bro. I'm in it right now.
8 months
married, bro. I'm in it right now.
Helping build a church.
Yep.
Helping steward and build and lead a young adult movement.
Yeah.
Where when in the country of the United States of America, people are saying you cannot reach young adults. God is doing something
here. Yes, we can.
And we're building something here, him and us, man, and we're reaching young adults.
Yeah.
Would you disagree though that
nope,
like
that is predominantly what my life is consisted of right now.
What would you say? What would you say right now?
I mean, bro,
is like the most uncertain place, right? Like, give me the real answer.
The most uncertain place for me in my life, brutally honest, is learning and adapting on how to be a husband.
That's a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
That's a big
for
deal.
me. You know, our house, we like to protect our house. Obviously, we keep our circle small. You know, but even in our private time, bro, like, man, I'm still trying to figure it out, bro. You know, I'm trying to figure out my ambition, how to balance my ambitions, my work, and the things that I want to accomplish in my life, you know, but at the same time, you know, put Courtney's goals and ambitions.
That's wifey, by the way.
Yeah, that's wifey, bro. Put her goals and ambitions into my view, right? And on top of that, spending personal time together and all that, bro, like, yeah, man, it's a lot right now. It's
a big deal, man. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, bro, creeping on 18 years of having been in the game, of being in the husband game, that challenge and that right there doesn't necessarily go away.
Yeah.
Right. There's always,
learning.
And I think actually, bro, I think that's like the perfect segue, because a lot of us, we think that, or I won't even say a lot of us. I won't pull you guys into my mess, right? Mm. However, you probably nod your head if you agree. That a lot of times in my own life, I grasp at certainty, like I need certainty. Like I become so dependent on certainty. I want to be certain of things. I want to be certain that I'm making enough money.
Yeah.
And I want to be certain that this is the right decision. Right. And I want to be certain that she's the one.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like I want to be certain that this degree is going to change the game. I want to be certain. I want to be certain that getting, you know, like these student loans are going to be worth it. I want to be certain that following Jesus actually has a point.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's honest, yes or no, right? But I think what happens, man, is that we develop an unhealthy dependence on certainty. Now, I don't necessarily say that certainty is wrong or bad, right? But tell me what you think about this, Andrew. That a lot of times, though, life is always in flux, and life is always moving, and life is always in motion. Yeah, that certainty is not readily available a lot of the time.
Yes.
Right? And especially for young adults, like you guys that are in your 20-somethings, like 18 to 20-something. Look, if you're 18 years old and you're listening to the podcast, I'm just going to lump you in. I'm going to round up, okay? Like I'm going to round up to the nearest 10, and I'm just going to lump you into 20-somethings, right? So like college students, 20-somethings, even 30-somethings, right? Because like young adulthood still now has trickled into
just
32,
got into corporate America,
34. Yeah, bro, like you're
that.
Still a young adult. Your life is becoming something, right? I think that like uncertainty is regular because certainty is not a given.
Yeah.
Right? And if we're not careful, an unhealthy dependency on certainty begins to invite uncertainty.
Yeah.
Right? And so a lot of times what we call depression, what we call anxiety, what we call fear, what we call delay, what we call the inability to make a decision, all stems from uncertainty, or let me say it this way, being so dependent or almost a prisoner of certainty. Like, have you ever met someone who had commitment issues, and not just relationally or romantically, but had commitment issues with, like, bro, like, okay,
let's hear it.
Watch. Like, it's hard for me to commit to a hotel when I go on a vacation. You know why? Because I want to be certain it's the right one.
Yeah.
And if Diana was sitting in the room right now, you know what she'd say?
Yeah.
She'd say, Cruz will read reviews for 4.5 weeks before he books a room.
I just told me this just this past weekend. What did you tell me when I was dropping you off at the hotel? You were like, man, like, we just picked this hotel because we know what we're going to get every time.
Bro,
it's certain.
yes,
It's certain,
dude.
bro.
Oh my gosh, bro. Sometimes being stuck or being caught in tradition is not even that you don't have an ability to move forward. It's because you're stuck in needing certainty. Bro, that's the absolute truth, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, the reason I book that hotel room or that hotel every time we go to Disney is because I know what I'm going to get. Yep. And I wonder how many opportunities I've missed to enjoy something new or something different because I was so caught up with needing certainty.
Wow.
Right? Man. So here's the bottom line, dude. Right? The bottom line is that uncertainty is going to be a part of life. Right. You're growing up. You're changing. You're not who you were in high school. You're not who you were in your later teens. You're not the 18-year-old version of yourself anymore. You're evolving. You're changing. And evolution and change in it of itself will bring what? Uncertainty.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and so what we want to talk about today is not so much how to get certainty, because that's a setup. Because the moment you feel like you're certain, things, boom, change.
You're going to be let down 99.9% of the time. If you're looking for a certain, clear answer, certainty, you're just going to get let down most of the time.
Absolutely.
100%.
So what if then, and this is what Andrew and I are proposing for your thinking today. What if rather than pursuing certainty, we pursued something different, something that we actually can get, right? Certainty is not always a given.
Yeah.
But confidence can be.
Right.
Reliance in something, belief in something, we call that faith.
Yeah.
Right? Faith can be something that we can depend on. Believing in something, our values can become something that we can depend on.
Vision.
Oh my gosh, bro. Yes.
Our mission
100%
is something we can depend
100%, on. Right? And so when we can allow our vision, mission, we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. That's actually point number one. We develop not certainty necessarily when we go with things that we can have, things that we can control, things that are already in our hands. Even in times of uncertainty, I believe that the point is not more certainty or obtaining certainty. I believe that the point is finding clarity.
Wow.
That's the goal.
Wow.
The goal needs to be clarity. Clarity then comes from not from certainty alone, but it can come from confidence. It can come from values. It can come from mission, vision, like Andrew said. And so the truth is, man, again, for those of you who are listening to this and are like, Cruz, like, but I'm caught up, man. I'm feeling some type of way because of my uncertainty. Listen, you're okay. All right? You're okay. You're fine. Living by faith, walking by faith carries in it of itself a degree of uncertainty. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 says it this way. You walk by faith. What is faith? Well, the chapter prior, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 13 says that faith is a spirit. When's the last time we were able to grab hold of a spirit and be like, I'm certain of this? So my faith life, my faith walk actually requires me to believe in something I cannot see.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so faith is believing and speaking. Faith is not certainty. Certainty and believing don't go hand in hand.
Nope.
The truth is when you're certain of something, you don't have to believe in it.
Or you don't need to have faith.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what it is.
There's an author that I love. And you hear me talk about her all the time. Like our team for Prime Culture hears me talk about her all the time. Her name is Brene Brown, right? And Brene Brown is an author of several incredible books, dude. Incredible books. And as young adults, you should probably do yourself a favor and go and read some of her books.
Shoot, two right now.
The burdens of the burdens of imperfection.
Burdens of imperfection.
And Daring Greatly.
Daring Greatly.
Right? Okay. Or the Gifts of Imperfection, I think that's what it's called. It's something with imperfection, all right? Fact check me. But for sure, Daring Greatly. And Daring Greatly is the one that I'm about to reference. Daring Greatly changed my life as a young adult. Wow. I came across Brene Brown when I was like 27, 28. I was at your age, right? And Daring Greatly, she wrote it for spouses and parents. So you should probably read it with Courtney. You're welcome. And Courtney, if you're listening, hold it.
I receive it.
And make him do it, okay? Say, hey, Pastor Cruz said, right? Go ahead and drop my name, girl, right? But she said this. She said that the opposite of believing is not doubt. The opposite of believing is certainty.
Wow.
And a lot of times when people will say, well, the opposite of faith is fear. Well, not necessarily, right? Because I can be afraid and faithful at the same time.
At the same time.
I can do that at the same time, but I cannot be certain and have faith and have a life of believing at the same time. Here's how that works, right? How can I believe for more if I'm certain that it won't work?
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Now my believing can do nothing when I'm certain of something, right? So, so faith is believing and speaking, right? So faith now requires and demands me to put my trust and my confidence in something that's not tangible.
Yep.
That's why the next chapter, the great apostle Paul says, you walk by faith and not by sight. What is sight? Sight is certainty.
Yeah.
I can see it, smell it, touch it, taste it, hear it.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's certainty. It's tangible. It's palpable. Right? But the apostle is telling us, no. Because the things that you can taste, hear, smell, see, and touch, those things can trick you immediately. Yep. When's the last time you were certain of someone that you could smell and touch?
Deceiving.
Come on, boy.
Oh,
say that.
Man.
Talk your talk, Andrew.
Add that preset on that filter, boy.
Come on. Talk your talk,
Instagram
Andrew.
Post.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Certainly she didn't look like this in the DM.
Oh my
I'm very
gosh.
uncertain. I'm very uncertain that this is the same person that DM'd me. Wow.
Did I just get catfished?
Dang, bro.
Wow.
Dang.
Sheesh.
Dang.
My gosh.
But faith, bro. Faith, right? And so the walk of faith in and of itself carries a degree of uncertainty. Yeah. But I can be confident while I'm uncertain. Right? And I'm about to be preachy because that's what Pastor Cruz does. All right. So I'm going to be preachy. Philippians 1:6. Philippians 1:6 says, being confident in this one thing. Confident in this one thing, that the one who began a good work will complete it. Yep. Not certain, but confident. Right? So I can be an incomplete work, AKA a hot ghetto mess.
Express.
That's the hot mess express. Choo choo, all aboard, right? Like, oh my God. That would bless me if someone referenced the Hot Mess Express and tagged us on it. Like that would bless me. Like I will repost that on my personal and be like, I know what you're talking about.
Put the Hot Mess Express, put the screenshot of the Prime Culture podcast and put it on your stories and tag us. Right? Oh my goodness.
But that's the beauty, that I'm confident. My job isn't to be certain. You know who the certain one is? Jesus.
Yep.
Jesus is a certain one. He's unchanging. My confidence isn't in my certainty. My confidence is that Jesus certainly will be Jesus, right? So I have confidence in Jesus. I can't see it at work because I'm an incomplete work right now. The one who began the work, so I'm a work in progress, right? So listen, why am I digressing on this? Because I need you to understand, as a young adult or whoever's listening to this podcast, that you are the poster child for uncertainty.
Yeah,
you are incomplete. You are. Cruz, how do you know? Well, are you done living? If you're not done living, then you're incomplete. Are you done evolving? Did you reach the end? Is this it?
Yeah.
Because if you have, well, then you're complete. But if you have not, and you still have goals and dreams and ambitions and desires and a destiny and purpose, a plan, shoot, well, then you're incomplete.
Yeah.
And thank God for the uncertainty in my life. It lets me know that there's room for
growth and room for him.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Right? And so listen, faith in and of itself requires us to trust that he is able, that he's our certainty even in our uncertainty. So the goal is not more certainty so Cruz can feel like I got it together. The goal should be clarity so that I can see Jesus more clearly in my time of uncertainty. That's got to be the goal. That I can see Jesus' word, his promise, his presence, his person, man.
Yeah.
Right? In my time of uncertainty, right? And so
That's so good.
So we're not going to talk to you about how to be certain, but we are going to talk to you about, and if you're taking notes, here you go, how to be uncertainly clear. How to have clarity in times of uncertainty. Now, we're not writing the book yet. Hello. That would be awesome.
What?
I know, bro. I know. We're not writing the book on a comprehensive approach on how to get certainty or how to get clarity. Sorry. But we are going to give you, over the next 2 weeks, we're going to give you 7 ways on how to get clarity in times of uncertainty. That's the goal, fam.
Yeah.
Right? The goal is when you're in your deepest uncertainty, go with your highest point of clarity.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think right here, my goodness, go with your highest point of clarity. It's like the moments where you think things are going as planned.
Hello.
Right? You think things are going as planned, and let's say, for example, you're planning out a trip or whatever the case is. By the way, we have a story about a trip.
Oh, you'll hear about that. I can't wait. It'll be in point number 2.
Yeah, point number 2. But even in this moment, right? Like, you're planning a trip, and you are for sure certain that your trip is always going to go the way that you had intended it for it to be. It
never does.
And it never happens.
Never does.
But while you're on your trip, what do? You find your highest points of clarity.
That's it. And that's what we want to help you do, right?
Exactly.
We want to help you find your clarity.
Exactly.
I love that you brought that up, man. Like the great prophet Mike Tyson said this one time. He said, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the face. Right? Because people are always talking about like how, and some of y'all might be too young to know who Mike Tyson is. He's not Tyson from Tyson Chicken Nuggets, okay? That's a different Tyson. Mike Tyson is arguably one of the greatest heavyweight boxers ever. All right.
18-year-old kids, who's that?
All right, for real. Do yourself a favor and just Instagram Mike Tyson like boxing clips, right? He was a knockout artist. So people would always say, man, I'm certain I have the right strategy. I'm certain I have the right game plan to beat Mike. I'm going to beat Mike, right? And Mike Tyson just goes, that's great. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Wow.
Right? And I think we've all gotten punched in the face, right? So the goal here is when life gets disrupted, like you're saying, Andrew, like when life gets disrupted, when things don't go the way we planned them, we have to find our clarity. Yeah. Right? And the truth is that in the times of the greatest disruption and the times of greatest turbulence, our uncertainty is going to be the highest. Right? But even in those moments, you can have a clarity. Go with your highest point of clarity. Right? For some of you, it'll be clarity 7 out of 10. All right, rock with it. For some of us, it's a 5 out of 10. Well, rock with it. Yeah. And here's what I hope, man. I hope that this doesn't, listen, I'm just going to give you a disclaimer, okay? This may not free you up and drive away uncertainty from your life, okay? Because some of us in our lives, we don't have problems to solve. We have tensions we have to manage. Right. Okay? And so by no means am I saying, here, I'm going to give you all the solutions to all your problems, right? But my goal and my hope, our hope is this, that this will give you hope and tools to find clarity, and that clarity will then feed your confidence so that the uncertainty doesn't destroy you. Yeah. It may disrupt you, but it should not destroy you. Not even close. Right? And so at the very least, my prayer, we're going to give you 3 points today and then 4 points next week. Okay. So I pray that as we give you these 3 points, that for sure you start getting clarity and not confusion. Right. Confusion contaminates clarity. When I'm confused about who I am. Right. Now, look, you may be uncertain about which way to go. Do you know what I mean, Andrew? Yeah. You may be uncertain about which job to take. You may be uncertain about who to date. But I'll tell you what, if you can get some clarity about who you are, those decisions become easier. Yeah. Right? I know who I am and I know who I want to be. Or watch this. I know who I am. I know what my vision is. So you know what? That decision doesn't necessarily line up with who I believe I am.
Right.
Boom. You know what that is? Clarity.
Yeah.
Did it solve your issue about being single and now you're going to be at home on Christmas and your mom's going to be like, when are you going to meet someone, son?
Nope.
You're 26 years old. No, it's not. It's not going to solve that uncertainty.
But it
you
made
don't
my
have
life
kids.
a lot easier.
Bam. Right?
Yeah. That's my origin story here.
Really?
That was my origin story here. When I was confused.
Hello.
Prior to being here.
Tell me about
who I was. You know, when I first moved out here, it was back in like when I first started traveling in and out of the city, it was back in like 2015.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't start getting planted at this church until 2018. Right?
Wow.
So it was 3 years of me just trying to be the professional that I was, or that I currently am still.
Hello.
Right?
Yes, sir.
But in my professional career where it was like, man, I'm traveling all this way, right? I'm meeting a bunch of people, right? And same thing, you said it earlier, there's tensions that you have to manage. There was tensions that I had to manage, right? But in all of that, I found myself more confused about who I was. I found myself sadder than I ever was.
Wow.
I found myself more lost than I ever was, even though the money was great, okay? I'm gonna put that out there right now, right? Money does not solve all the issues,
No
okay?
way.
But it wasn't until I got planted here at this church and I surrounded myself with the right people and I put myself in position with the right God where I started to get more clarity because I started to realize who I was.
It's incredible.
Right?
It's incredible.
And when that happened, everything just kind of domino affected, right? Everything kind of domino affected to the point where, like you said, it may not be certain, right? But it made my decision making a lot easier.
It's brilliant.
And now, next thing you know, my wife comes in, right? Me pursuing my calling comes in, right? Me having like a great group of friends that I can actually rely on and call my best friends, right? All that came, number one, when I first and foremost realized who I was.
You got some clarity.
And I got clarity
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
it. So that's my origin story here.
Like,
it's crazy.
I love that, dude. I love that. I'm so grateful that that's your story and that you're still planted here.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the big deal. I think that we try so hard to handle or figure out what we don't know,
Right.
that we downplay what we do know.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that in times of uncertainty, we should not let what we don't know obscure or diminish what we do know.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the things that I'm very confident in is that regardless of what's creating uncertainty in our lives, there is this I call it a tremor truth. Like there's this soul truth, this deep down inside truth. And part of an element of that truth that we carry is who we know we are.
Right.
Right. You know, when I talk with with young adults who are going through some times of disruption and times of uncertainty, one of the things that always emerges as we're processing through some of the tension or some of the complexities is, you know, Pastor Cruz, but, you know, I believe that this is who I am, you know, and the reason I don't feel good about this or that or what have you is because I know who I don't like how that makes me feel. Right. And what I tend to do is like, I just tend to dig at things,
Yeah.
you know, because I want to try to get people and I want to try to get you to like a root cause.
You
right?
peel the layers of the onion.
Absolutely. 100%,
Yeah.
man. You're right. I just keep digging. I keep digging. I like to think of it like I'm a prospector, right? Because there's gold in there.
Yeah.
Right? And so we just got to dig away from the layers of dirt. Got to dig away the layers of hurt and the layers of fear and et cetera. And when I hear someone say, "Well, I don't," when I tell them like, "Hey, well, why don't you like that decision?" Well, I just don't like how I feel about it. It just doesn't sit well with me. When I hear that, immediately I know, okay, there's something you believe about yourself, and there's something you know about you, right? So what I tend to do is rather than pursuing or chasing the unknowns, I try to come back and magnify the knowns. And so I'll say something like, wait, okay, well, hold on. Well, let's stop talking about college or let's stop talking about job opportunities or dating prospects or whatever, right? Let's talk about you.
Yeah. Wow.
Tell me about you. What do you know about you? Because you're saying that because there's something about you that's very clear to you that is much more important than you think and should have much more say in your decision making than you're allowing it to have.
Wow.
What is it about you, that doesn't line up with this that's creating static or friction or uncertainty. And I'm sharing that because every single one of us listening here would be able to say this, that there are a lot of things that I don't know about my life. Mm-hmm. But at 20, in my 20s, mid-20s, young adulthood, there are some things that I'm confident about myself.
Yeah.
And I just really want to help you with that, right? Like, look, don't allow the things that you don't know, don't allow them to obscure and diminish what you do know.
That's right.
Right? And what you know about you actually can bring you to your highest point of clarity. And actually, Andrew, that brings us to the first point. Okay, so for those of you who are note takers, we're about to hit the nuts and bolts. We're about to hit the meat.
Let's get it.
Of the content, right?
Ready for it.
And so, going with your core, going with what you know is true about you, I would call that the fundamentals. Okay, and so one of the top ways, and one of the ways that I want you to start incorporating into your life, so that you can find your highest point of clarity, not certainty, but so you can find your highest point of clarity, is I want you to hit F5 on the fundamentals. I want you to hit F5. Now, Andrew, you work with keyboards a lot.
Hey.
What does F5 do?
Refresh.
Hey. What does it do?
Refresh.
Hit him one more time with that truth.
Refresh.
You gotta refresh.
Bro, can I unplug my computer? Like, can I shut it off, unplug it, plug it back in, and then press it, and then press F5 like 10 more times,
that's called a reboot. Hello. But for real though.
Yeah, seriously.
Sometimes we just have to hit F5 on what? Not life. Okay, hit F5 on the fundamentals, man.
Yeah.
Refresh and reconnect with the fundamentals.
And what are the fundamentals, PC?
Look, man, what I would say is this. The fundamentals are the things that you know are true about you. So you mentioned them earlier, and I love that you were thinking that way already, because this is core. And this is, honestly, this is one of the reasons why we talk about fundamentals so much at our church. Right, in our community of faith, we talk about fundamentals, things that tend to be pretty fixed. Once you get some self-awareness, once you get some EQ, and if you don't know what EQ is, do yourself a favor, go to season 4 and listen to about 6 episodes on emotional intelligence that Diana and I did. It will probably change your life. So go listen to emotional intelligence.
You know what I like about pressing F5 on the fundamentals? Is that when you press F5 on a keyboard and it reloads, you can press it time and time and time again, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to say right now to all the young adults that are listening to the podcast is that me being a young adult myself, it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's okay to screw up, right? It's okay to have a stumbling block.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
But the greatest part about it is that you can always press F5 and the key is always there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Well, the scripture would say it this way, that a righteous man, now a righteous man, that righteousness, you would call that a fundamental. Because it's not every man. Okay? A righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets up.
Yep.
So there is a pattern and an expectation of messing it up. Yeah. There's an expectation of disruption and uncertainty, right? But a righteous man, and remember, look, all righteousness is I'm right with God because of what Jesus did for me, right? So you can fall 7 times, but what do? I hit F5 on my faith. I refresh and reconnect with my faith. I refresh. That's what F5 is, okay? So when you're thinking about F5, man, what am I doing? I'm refreshing and reconnecting. Like, go look at your Chrome browser next time. Seriously, the next time you hit F5, go do it like right now. Don't do it right now. Keep listening to the podcast, right? But like, hit F5, and what it does, you'll see 2 things. Number 1, at the very bottom left-hand corner, it'll say reconnecting to the URL and the address, right? And so it reconnects, and then it refreshes what was on the page.
Man.
You know what I mean? It refreshes the display that was in front of you. And so I want you to really carry that. Like, man, okay, I need to hit F5. What does F5 mean? I'm going to reconnect with my fundamentals, and I'm going to refresh my fundamentals. I'm going to come back to and remember my fundamentals, right? So what are some fundamentals, Andrew? Well, here's some fundamentals. Ready? Number 1, your faith. Your faith has got to be a fundamental for you. What do I believe? Who do I believe? What do I believe about God? Right? When you have uncertainty in your life, like one of the places where the enemy will attack us, especially in times of uncertainty, is like, where's God at? Where's God? Why would God let this happen? Right? And can I just remind us, life happens.
Yeah.
Life happens. God didn't have anything to do with it.
Right.
It's life, man. Right? Like, and now here's what we need to remember. It won't always be this way, Like, it's not always going to be like this, right? Okay. And so what the enemy does is he'll attack our faith immediately.
Yeah.
Bro, before we can get into values, which is a fundamental,
right?
Before we can get into vision, which is a fundamental, before we can get into mission, which is a fundamental, before we get into relationships, which is a fundamental, before we get into convictions, core convictions, which is a fundamental, at its core, we need faith, right? Why? Why is faith important? What I believe in and how I behave. That's what believing and speaking is, all right? So I'm going to give you the heart of Abundant Church on faith in 25 seconds. Ready? Here we go. Faith is not a muscle. It doesn't grow. You all have the measure of faith. The book of Romans says this, that when you were born again, you were given the measure of faith. So we all have the same faith. We don't all have the same faith walk, right? Number one. Number two, faith is not magic. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is believing. What is believing? Believing is putting a choice to put confident trust in something. That is what believing is. Wow. So I put my confident trust in Jesus. That's right. Believing and speaking. What is speaking? Speaking is corresponding behavior. So I would say it this way for prime culture. What is faith? Faith is behaving like what I believe.
Wow.
Behaving like I believe, right? So when I hit F5 on my fundamentals and I hit F5 on my faith, I'm going to behave like what I believe in. And what do you believe?
Wow.
Right? For some of us, we got to go back to, that's what got us jacked up in the first place.
Yeah.
We believe in a degree more than we believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
We believe in a paycheck more than we believe in Jesus.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We believe in a boyfriend and a girlfriend, bro.
More than we believe in Jesus. Yeah.
So you got to hit F5 on your faith, man. Yeah. What are you behaving like? And if you look at your behavior and the frantic behavior, the highs and the lows, listen. I'm by no means am I diminishing your experience if you've gone through depressive patterns. I understand. I've lived it, okay? But there's also moments in my life where the depression was a byproduct of me behaving what I was believing. And what I was at the core of it, the issue wasn't the depression, the issue was my believing.
Right.
And when I fixed my believing, bro, when I looked higher than where I was at, for some of us, we don't have a vision, we have a vantage. And I start to believing my vantage more than I start believing my vision. And so let's talk about vision a little bit, right? Because vision is a fundamental. We got to hit F5, got to refresh and reconnect with the vision. Gosh. What's the vision for your life?
Yeah.
What's the vision? Andrew, listen. Vision is not complicated.
It's not.
Okay? I teach the culture this all the time. Vision is having a clear mental image of the future I prefer.
That's right.
Tell me the future you prefer right now, bro. And don't tell me 3 years from now. Tell me the future you have for this week.
The future that I prefer this week.
Well, dude, that's the future.
All right, the future I prefer this week is abundant rest from the 30 miles that we walked at Disney, because I'm still recovering from that. But also the future I prefer this week is we have a giveaway happening in San Eli.
Yeah.
And the future I prefer is seeing a bunch of little kids happy and acknowledging and knowing that there's a church out here in El Paso that loves them. And hey, the young adults are going to rock with us too.
That's the future I prefer. I prefer for young adults to be there.
Yeah.
I prefer for the culture to show up strong. But here's the thing, right? See, this is how you hit F5 on a fundamental. This is how you hit F5 on the fundamental of vision. We think vision is for a long way away. No, bro. Vision is for the future, and the future is happening all the time. Watch. Ready? Here we go. We're in the future now.
Wow.
And we're in the future now. Look, 1, 2. We're 3 seconds in the future.
There it is.
3, 2, 1. We're 3 seconds in the future again. And we think about the future about, man, it's a long way away. No, it's not. It's like in increments of a second at a time.
Yeah.
And the future is always happening.
That's right.
And if we're not careful, the future will become the present and then the past, and we'll live with our head in the past.
Yep.
Get your head out your past.
Wow.
I know, bro. I know. Get your head out your past. For real. But that's why, but this is why we're depressed. We're living in regret because we have not refreshed the fundamental of vision. You cannot go forward looking backward. You just can't, man.
That's right.
Hit F5. What's the future you prefer? And don't talk to me about 5 years from now because so much can change. Tell me what the future is for this week. Cruz, the future I prefer is to go to the gym 3 times this week. Bet. hit F5 on that fundamental.
Bro, that's a win.
Yes, dude.
That's a win.
Right? And then when you accomplish it, you know what that feels like? Even in a time of uncertainty, it feels like, man, I feel great. You don't know why? Because I got something done.
Let's go.
And I may not know where I'm going to be working in 5 years, and I may not know what city I'm going to be living in. I may not know who I'm married to, but you know what? And what I'm going to do? I'm going to win the future today.
That's right.
I'm going to hit F5 on my fundamentals.
Small wins, baby.
Come on, baby.
The small wins.
Yes, sir.
The small wins.
Yes, sir. Right? And so look, hit F5 on your fundamentals today. The little by littles, right? With the little by littles. We're going to talk about that a lot next year at Prime Culture, right? But I believe this, Andrew. There's a couple of things. Number one, when we hit F5 on the fundamentals, when we refresh and we reconnect with vision, with purpose, with mission, with convictions, with values, with boundaries, hello, boundaries should be a fundamental.
That's a thing within itself.
Do you want to know why you're so uncertain in that relationship? You're uncertain with that relationship because you compromise your values and your boundaries. And now you're living in this uncertainty. Well, maybe one day he'll be okay. Girl, if he doesn't, look, hit F5 on that mug.
Yep.
All right? No, for real. Like, hit F5 and go relook at him right now.
I know a lot of them that are overdue for an F5.
Bruh. Hit F5 right now on that girl.
Yep.
And if she doesn't line, after you refresh and reconnect with your beliefs, with your vision, when you reconnect with your expectations for someone who's going to be in your life, and if they don't line up, kick rocks. That becomes real clear real quick. And you don't need certainty for it. Look. You may not know who you're going to be married to 5 years from now.
That's right.
But I'll tell you who you shouldn't be with today. If the clarity's there, come on, man. Like sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, it's right there.
And so what happens,
right
man, is a lot of uncertainty and anxiety creeps into our lives when all we do is look at the big picture. Right. But look, when you hit F5 on the fundamentals, let me say it this way. You don't let the little things that are in front of you today overshadow the big things. You've got a vision. So let me restate that. We get caught up with the things we see today and we forget the vision, the purpose, the mission that we have for our lives.
Yeah.
Just because today's not perfect doesn't mean it doesn't have purpose.
That's right.
Right? So when we hit F5 on our fundamentals, it doesn't let the small picture overshadow the big picture.
Right.
Right? Like, Andrew, something that I wish I could tell young adults all day, every day. Just be in your ear and just say, hey, it's not always going to be this way.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not always going to be this way.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not always going to be this way. You know what breaks my heart sometimes? Well, all the time. When I see young adults make permanent decisions off of temporary situations.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking, Andrew.
Yeah.
When I see young adults make massive decisions based off of small issues.
Right.
It's heartbreaking, man. And so, like, look.
I mean, I've done a couple of those myself, and I just burned bridges, bro.
Ooh,
and
tell me about that.
Man, I look back on it,
that.
bro, and I'm just like, dang. I was just acting like a little kid, bro.
Hello. That's the truth.
It wasn't them. It was me. Like,
ooh.
For real. Ooh. And I had to get a checkup from the neck up, bro. Ooh. Like, man, a lot of the friends that I lost and a lot of the things that, like, some of the bridges that have been burned have been because of me acting irrationally on a short-term situation.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
And I love that we spent this much time on hitting F5 because I think in all the 7 points, I think this is the most important.
Just before anything.
Yeah. Just coming back to the fundamentals. Coming back to the fundamentals, right? Like any good coach will say what? Hey, just go play the fundamentals. You got too fancy. Cut it out.
That's right.
Right? Like come back to the fundamentals. Just come back to it. Come back to the fundamentals.
Go back to the basics,
right?
man.
So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, right? Secondly, or point number 2. Point number 2,
oh
ready?
My
Here we go.
gosh.
Is just get going. You can get clarity in times of uncertainty if you just get going. And I'll say it this way, like here's a big takeaway. Or one-liner, right? You find clarity as you go, not before you go.
Wow.
And I think that's what happens, right? I think what happens is because things are uncertain in our stationary moment, we don't even move.
We're waiting.
Right?
Yeah.
We're waiting, we're assuming. And what happens is we'll make decisions in the waiting and in the assumption that will like impact opportunities on the other side of the tension if we're willing to just get going.
Yeah.
We were in Anaheim together. We landed at LAX together. So Andrew and Courtney just traveled with me and my family. And we went to, and some of our friends.
Great trip, by the way. Great
trip. It was awesome. It was the best. It really was.
The beginning was just.
But that's what right.
Oh so my gosh.
So we land in LAX. Right, so Andrew had the job of booking our rental car.
I'm gonna get DMs now, bro. Why would you do that? Like,
now I will say this disclaimer, okay? Disclaimer. And to your defense, okay? There's no way
we could have known. There's no way
of knowing that I now know to ask. Okay, I now know to ask when I book a car. Are you in a back alley ghetto somewhere, or are you at the airport terminal?
Do I have to take a black unmarked minivan?
Bro, it was the sketchiest.
Oh my gosh.
It was the sketchiest thing I've been a part of in a long time, bro. In a long time. We need to tell the story. Tell the story.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay, so we land in LAX, right? And keep in mind, guys, LAX is like
massive.
LAX. It's LAX, right? So we land. I had booked a car. I was given the responsibility of booking a vehicle, and most of the time, you take a direct shuttle from the airline to the rental car company, right? Well, it turns out for this one, you have to take an LAX shuttle to an off-site card vehicle depot, and then the car company, whose name will not be revealed, okay?
I want to say it so bad, but yes.
Whose name shall not be revealed, comes and picks you up from the off-site car depot, so you have to take 2 shuttles. So next thing you know, we get to the off-car depot, right? The off-site depot, and all of a sudden, bro,
Bro, wait, hold on.
My goodness.
Okay, go ahead.
All of a sudden, we realize that we have to get into this black unmarked minivan.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, bro, but it wasn't even a car depot, bro.
I know.
Okay, it was like, look,
it was the parking lot.
Like we get there, right?
It was a parking lot,
and like we're watching other car companies send their shuttles, right?
Yeah,
and
literally.
so there's like, Enterprise. There's an Enterprise shuttle, and there's a Hertz shuttle, and bro, there was even the Fox rent-a-car shuttle, bro.
Seriously.
Like, what does the Fox say, right? It says, "I'm going to the right place. You should have rented with me." That's what the Fox says, right? Yo, and so we're like, yo, where's our people's at? Like, where they at though? Like, so we're just looking, and so then,
oh man,
I don't know who said about it. You know what? Let's just call the car company. And they're like, oh no, you got to see what happened was you got to go get on a different thing to go to a different place.
And they don't tell you.
And they don't tell you nothing, right? But so we get on the shuttle, right? On the LAX shuttle, and we're like, okay, they're gonna take us to the car depot. Now, if you're watching, then you can see me doing the finger sign, like the quotation signs.
The car
right?
depot.
The car depot.
Yep.
Let me tell you what the car depot was. Right. So we get on the terminal bus, right? We get on the shuttle, and it takes us, and it goes and it drives off the airport property, and we go about 2 miles somewhere into Los Angeles, right?
Gosh,
brother. And they pull into a parking lot, some random business.
It was a parking lot.
Right? And the homie that's driving is like, all right, you're here. And I'm like, we're where, bro? But where though? Where are we? I'll tell you what, at this time, there was a whole lot of uncertainty happening.
Yep.
I was uncertain for my life. Real talk. I was uncertain whether or not my family was safe. I was uncertain whether or not we were going to make it to Universal Studios that day. I was ready to cancel. Real talk, right? So in my moment of uncertainty, I was ready to make a big decision based off of one moment. Hello, right? Right. Anyway, I should have practiced what I preach is what I should have done. But I'll tell you what, bro, I got hot, number one.
We all were hot and bothered.
I was mad.
We were hot
right?
and ready, bro. We were all $5 hot and readies, bro.
1,000,000%.
That's what happens
bro.
when you get the economical pizza, the economy version of pizza.
Yeah,
wow.
Don't get the economy version of pizza because you'll get hot and ready.
The economy version of pizza.
That was subliminally putting people on blast. Yo, anyway, so we're there. You guys, we should have taken a video of this. I wish we could have taken a video of this because we're literally in a parking lot. Right? And the guy from the shuttle from LAX.
I have a picture of it. It'll be right here on the video.
Okay, bet.
It's going to be right here on the video.
Bet. All right, bet money.
Oh my
right?
gosh. Y'all check out this picture. It's ridiculous.
Yo, and that's on YouTube, by the way. So the guy from the shuttle, Andrew, is like, all right, get off. And we're like, what? And we're literally standing in the middle of a parking lot.
Yeah.
And he says, someone will be here to pick you up. It doesn't say nothing else.
In the middle of a parking lot. Keep in mind, guys, it's me, Courtney, Diana, and Pastor Cruz, and the 2 girls. Okay,
my daughters.
We got 2.
My babies.
2 little amazing little girls that are with us, and we are just in the middle of a parking lot.
Bro, and it's industrial, right? Like it's like an industrial, some sort of company, and it's not pretty and it's sketchy, and it's like, yo, what the heck?
Yep.
So a black unmarked vehicle pulls up, right? It jumps out.
Yep.
Hey, papi. Yes or no?
Bro, right? Yes. Oh my god.
And what you waiting for, papi? Yo. Bro, right? Like,
oh my gosh,
right? So
that's exactly what happened. So I decided, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go first. Number one, because there was a lot of people waiting for their vehicles, but number two, it was because I wanted to be the martyr in case anything happened. Yeah. Okay, I was gonna be the martyr. Yeah. So I decided to go. Y'all stayed in the parking lot the whole time while we were there waiting for the shuttle again, or deciding whether or not I was gonna come get you.
Right.
Okay, so I pull up to the parking lot, and keep in mind, referencing the picture right here, okay? The picture's right here, okay? We pull up into a back alley, all right? We pull up into a back alley with a rundown, almost half-broken garage, okay?
Bro.
We had a small little shack. We had a small little shack for the rental car kiosk, okay? And keep in mind, guys, we're in the back alley with like tall walls. Yeah. So it doesn't look like it's...
Bro, it was scary. It was like out of a movie, bro.
It was scary, bro.
It was an LA back alley. That's what it was.
And the business next door was... the doors were open, but it was completely empty. Yes.
And there were... it was insane. Now...
Anyways.
Look, I'll tie it in to the content. Now, hindsight is always 20/20.
That's right.
Right? So now looking back, I was grateful for the fact that we just got going.
Yeah.
I was grateful for that. I was grateful for the fact that, Andrew, you didn't let me cancel the trip. Because there were moments where I was like, man, screw this. I'm just getting an Uber for us.
Yeah.
And we're just going to Anaheim. We're not going to Universal.
Yeah.
Bro, real talk, I had already managed Chloe's expectations to say, you know what? We're not going to Universal, babe. Yeah. I had already told her that.
Wow.
I made a decision in my uncertainty. And I'm grateful for your leadership, sir. That you said, no, let's just do it, Cruz. Like, let's just go, man. Come on. Like, let's just see. And in it, I will say this, man, like, we did get a car.
Yeah.
We got to Universal.
It wasn't a bad car either.
It wasn't a bad car. Yeah, it wasn't. Now, it wasn't glamorous, but I will say this, sometimes just getting going isn't the most glamorous. There's nothing sexy about just get going. Progress in uncertainty is not the most glamorous, but you know what it is? It's moving forward.
That's right.
Right? Learning what works, what doesn't work isn't glamorous, but it's necessary.
That's right.
It's necessary, right? Why? Because I learned that a car, even in the back alley of Los Angeles, can still get us to our destination.
That's right.
And I'll tell you what, it was a great night.
Hey,
it was bananas.
That pizza was amazing.
Yeah, we ate at
and regardless of whether or not we were stuck in LA traffic, hello LA traffic, shout out to you. We were still moving forward.
We were still moving forward, right? And so look, listen, one of the best ways that you can get clarity in times of uncertainty in your life is just get going.
Let's get going, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Someone said it to me this way, right? Like, Cruz, just do something as long as you're reasonably confident that it won't cause harm, right? If it's detrimental, if it's going to cause harm, disorder, disruption, don't do that. Don't dig your hole deeper, right? But listen, like if it's going to move you forward, man, I'll say this: our goal is not perfection.
That's right.
Our goal is what? Progress. And shout out to the big homie. I don't know him yet. His name is Craig Rochelle. Right? and listen, you've heard me talk about this a little bit on the podcast, right? Like if you're looking for a great leadership development podcast, the Craig Rochelle Leadership Podcast is awesome. All right. And he says this: even an imperfect step forward is still progress. Right. And I heard an incredible leader say this one time, Andrew. He said, progress during uncertainty feels like this. You stumble forward, you bandage your knee, and you keep going.
Keep going.
Right? You stumble forward. And so listen.
Finish the race, man.
You just get going.
Wow.
Right? Just get going. That's second way to get clarity in times of uncertainty. And the last one for today.
All right.
Right? So number one was what? Hit F5.
Yep.
On what? The fundamentals. Right?
Yep.
Number two is
just get going.
Absolutely. Just get going.
And the
number
third one
three is
play the short game.
Play the short game. Play the short game. Andrew, What does that mean?
Well, very simple. Short-term solutions
Come on, bro.
instead of the long-term resolutions. Okay.
Wow.
Hello.
That's very good.
Hello.
Say that again for the people
short-term
in the back.
solutions
Yeah.
instead of the long-term resolutions.
Wow. Unpack that for me a little
Okay.
bit.
Well, truth is that just like we were talking about in point 2, inaction doesn't get you anywhere. But where you can start is starting with the small wins.
Come on, bro.
Okay?
Come on.
Because when you think long-term, you know, it happens in our lives all the time. You said it earlier. 5 years down the road, it's not guaranteed. Yeah. There's going to be too many moving parts. There's going to be a lot of things that move around. And the truth is, when a lot of things change, also a lot of problems come up about as well, right?
New levels bring new depth. Come on, somebody.
Wow, hello. So just play the short game, man. Play the short game.
Yeah.
Celebrate those small-term wins. You know, I feel like in our generation right now, we're so tied up in the end result that we don't even celebrate. We don't celebrate just being able to ace the test that we just took.
Wow, that's good.
We don't celebrate,
That's good, man.
you know, the 5 pounds that we just lost in the past couple of weeks.
Oh, me Jesus.
Wow, me too. No, I'm just kidding. I got 5 pounds to gain, bro.
You can have mine. You can have mine.
You know, but we don't celebrate that.
That's great, man.
Right?
That's great.
And
That's
when we don't
great.
even, when we can't even celebrate ourselves for the small things. Number one, how can we even celebrate the wins that our people around us are winning as well?
Wow.
We can't celebrate them if we don't even celebrate the small things that that we're accomplishing
And
in
that's
our
what
daily
people,
lives.
that's what uncertainty does, right? Like, because it's not
Yeah.
always just anxiety and depression. Sometimes it's like snarkiness.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like, you're just nasty for no reason. You're mad at someone else's win, right? Because you won't even move.
Not even close.
Why, dude, I don't want to be that guy, bro.
No.
I don't want to be that guy.
No one does.
That
But the
is
truth is, we're just too caught up.
That's just mad because others are moving and I'm choosing not to.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, bro. And here's the deal, right? Inaction won't create the future that you desire.
That's right.
It just won't, right? You got to play the short game. And Andrew's absolutely right in that, like, playing the short game helps you see the big in all of the smalls.
Yeah.
Right? So I like to think about it this way, and I lead myself this way. Okay. I'm uncertain about the big picture. I don't know what the next year is going to look like, but here's the language I use internally. But just for today, I'm going to do this. Or just for this week, I'm going to do this. Watch, I'll share something very transparent with you in playing the short game. And I'll tell you the being on the other side of how the short game has turned into years and years and years and years of victory for my life, right? When I was a young adult, the Lord freed me from really reckless, self-destructive behavior. Part of it was some promiscuity and decisions with my sexuality, my body, etc.
Right.
I come to Jesus and I line up with his design for sex and all that, but an addiction to pornography was very, very rampant in my life, and secretly it was destroying me. I thought that getting married would fix it. It didn't. It was still secretly destroying me. Now, I won't give you all the play-by-play. Maybe that's something we talk about, and we talk about, I think we need to talk about it. It's not just for guys. It's guys and girls, man, that are getting their pornography is destroying intimacy and sexual design for young adults. Anyway, I remember being overwhelmed, like how will I ever be free in my life from this? Now, almost about 10, 12 years in, I haven't been perfect. I don't have a perfect track record, but man, I'm killing it now, right? Over the last 10, 12 years of walking in victory over it, now we've put together a couple of years of incident free. Okay, that doesn't mean the urge isn't still there. Right. That doesn't mean that the temptation doesn't creep up. That emotionally that there are triggers that take me there. Those are still there.
Right.
But one thing that I've decided to do is I'm going to play the short game.
Wow.
And just for today, pornography is not going to take me out. Today, unfaithfulness to Diana, my wife, is not going to take me out. I can't speak for tomorrow yet, but today, I'm not going out like that. And I allow the short game to help me feel like I have clarity for today. I'll deal with tomorrow when tomorrow becomes today.
Oh, today.
Right? So tomorrow, will be today eventually.
Yeah.
And so when tomorrow becomes today, guess what I'm going to do? Today, I'm not going out like that.
Jeez.
Today, pornography will not have a place in my life. Today, lust and unfaithfulness to Diana will not have a place in my life. I don't know about tomorrow, but today, I'm not going out like that. And then tomorrow becomes today.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And day by day, little by little, I've now seen victory in my life on a daily basis. And you guys, for some of you, you're overwhelmed by the pressure of the big thing. Listen, just win today.
Yeah,
just win today. You can win today. And you want to know something? That the promises of God are for every day. There are 365 promises, right? Or 365 fear nots in the Bible, right? Wow. And the promises of God are yes and amen for today. And we'll end with this. We'll end with Lamentations 3:23 says this, that the mercy of God, the goodness of God is brand new with every rising of the sun.
Wow.
Right? God's mercy and grace is built for you today. So that you can see and have clarity of his presence and his hand and his heart for your life today.
Wow.
Don't worry about tomorrow. He's got something else for you when your tomorrow becomes today.
Wow.
Right? So hit F5 on the fundamentals.
Hit F5, man.
Right?
Hit F5, just get going.
Just get going. Do something.
Yeah.
Take a step. Don't be afraid.
And hey, we at Prime Culture, we want to celebrate you guys in your short-term wins.
Yeah.
You know,
play the short game.
Yeah, we want to celebrate you guys just as much as you know, we want to be in it with you guys.
Yeah.
Right. So hey, let us know, hit us in the DMs and let us know, like, what are some small and short solutions?
What are some things you're hit F5 on?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's brilliant, but we should do a thing. We should do a thing on social. Angela, I'm pointing to you, Angela. We should do a thing on social, right? We should do a thing on social where you tell us, hey, what are you hitting F5 on? Yeah. And if you don't know what you're hitting F5 on, go hit the podcast and you'll know what we're talking about. What are you just going to get going? You know what? I'm just going to get going. I'm just going to start writing the book, or I'm just going to go back in school. Right?
Come
okay.
On.
Just get going.
Just get going.
And just win today. What are you going to win at today?
Yep.
We need to make that a thing.
We're going to make it a thing.
We need to make it a thing.
We're going to make it a thing.
Are we going to make it a thing?
We're going to make it a thing.
I think it should be a thing.
Should it be a thing?
Angela's saying yes.
Yeah,
it should be a thing.
Okay, cool.
Well, this was a good episode today.
Wow.
Next week, we're going to capture part two.
Part two.
Of how to get uncertainly clear. Right?
4 more points, man.
It's awesome.
We're almost there.
I love it. Hey, listen. I love you so much. We love you so much at Prime Culture. I'm so grateful that you got a chance to listen to the podcast today. I want you to do that, okay? I want you to take a moment and I want you to just, like, maybe when you get home before you go to bed, whenever you just have a few minutes, take 10, 15 minutes and write down what your fundamentals are. Take some time to determine and stir your faith on what you're going to get started with, and allow yourself to see the short game. What victory can you see today, just for today, just for this week, right? What are you going to do? And I promise you this, that there is going to be a clarity that is going to come into your life and it's going to bless you. All right. So listen, we love you so much. We've got a lot coming up in the month of December. When this content drops, it's a Friday when we usually drop. Tomorrow then is Saturday, December 11th. We have our Son Ellie giveaway. So you'll hear about all of that. And then West Side on the weekend, December 12th, we have the Thrill of Hope, which is our Christmas.
It's going to be phenomenal.
Our Christmas services on the West Side.
I'm hopeful for it.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And then on the 19th, we have Christmas. We have the Thrill of Hope on the East Side.
Yeah, we do.
And then Christmas Eve, we've got church, man. And then Wednesday nights are going to be popping. All right, so catch us at church on Sunday. Catch us at church on Wednesdays. Man, get to church. We love you guys. We love you guys. Hey, once again, thank you so much for rocking with the content. Make sure you hit the like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you turn on alerts, make sure you give us a rating. It helps get this content out.
And give it a share, man.
People. Yeah, absolutely.
Give it a share.
Share this thing. All right. Yeah. So until next time, we love you.
Love each and every single
one of y'all. Be the culture. Peace.
We'll see you guys next time.